Hey guys, we're going to talk about how to set up a squat rack so that you can do your squats and bench pressing safely and get the pins, safety pins, and then the J-hooks in the right position for your workout. So, we always want this to be about shoulder height for squats. We'll start with that. The reason being, you want to duck under the bar and stand up with it to unrack it, rather than coming up on your tiptoes and trying to reach for that bar. So if we set this bar right there, she'll be able to duck under the bar, stand up with it, and take one step back, and then squat. Good? And then just re-rack it. Same thing, you never want to be coming up to put the bar away and put it back in the rack. The second thing that you'll need to be able to do to safely set up your squat rack, a lot of racks have different kinds of pins. These, just a little trigger, and that'll release the safety pin so that you can adjust it up and down. This is going to vary based on your personal height and the depth that you're able to squat to, but we would just want to set it up to the point where if you get into the bottom of your squat, the bar is not hitting the pins, but it's just below that, so that if you do need to bail a rep and you drop that bar, it's just going to drop an inch or two and rest on those safety pins so that you can stand up and walk away and safely get out of the way of that bar without hurting yourself. Now when it comes to setting up the squat rack for bench pressing, one other factor we're going to need to take into consideration, which is the fact that if you miss the rep and get stuck here, you still don't want the pins to interfere with your range of motion. So keep in mind that that's going to be set about chest height, and the bar will be resting on your chest a little bit, but you'll be able to wiggle free under that bar because the pins will be taking up 90% of the weight or so. So we'll start by setting the pins. Just like with the squat, where you don't want to have to tiptoe up to the bar, you don't want to have to struggle to reach for it. So we'll lower these down a little bit. Right there. Yep, that looks pretty good. And we'll set the bar onto the hooks. And now we'll lower those pins. Yep, check that. See how her arms are still bent when she grasps the bar. She's not reaching up for it, and by no means is it out of her reach. So she's able to lift it up off of the rack to unrack it and then start her reps. That's kind of the perfect height, right? Perfect right there. Now we'll lower the pins. 2 spaces down. Good. So now if she were to go and unrack that bar, and lower it down to touch her chest, we'd actually want that a little bit higher. Bring it up, yeah. So always just test out the squat rack that you're going to be using so that you know that it's adjusted to the way that suits your gym's equipment and your range of motion and your body.